Hi boys and girls. Today what I'd like to do is to talk about how to add and subtract like fractions. So if you had 1/4 plus 2/4, that has like denominators. The fours are the denominators, and they are alike, so we can go ahead and add and subtract them. That is the rule with fractions. You have to have like denominators. The top numbers are called the numerators. And so we'll add them. And if you look at these fractions, both fractions are actually proper fractions. Why? Because the top number is smaller than the bottom number. All right, so we have 1/4 plus 2/4, and what we'll do is we will keep the same denominator of 4, but we'll actually add 1 plus 2, and we'll get 3. And now we have added a like denominator. Now we have to ask, oh, is it in lowest terms or simplest form? Well, it is, because you know a number is in simplest form if the numbers follow each other, like 3/4 or 2/3 or 5/6 or 15/16. Doesn't matter what two numbers, as long as they follow each other in the number line, they will also be known as in simplest form or lowest terms. All right, so let's try another that is a like denominator. How about if we did 1/3 plus 1/3? Okay, I'm going to keep the bottom number the same because that won't change, and I just have to add the top two numbers. 1 plus 1 is 2. So now we have 2/3. And 2/3, is it in lowest terms? It sure is, because 2 then 3, I know there's no numbers between them, and so it's in lowest or simplest form. All right, now it'll be a little bit different if we have unlike denominators. So let's do this. How about 1/6 plus 2/3? Okay, well, first we have to say, well, here's my two bottom numbers. Does either of those fit into the other? Well, 6 won't fit into 3, but 3 will fit into 6. So that means I want to make that 3, I want to convert it to a 6. So first, my first job is to take 2/3 and to make it equivalent to 6. So I'm going to say 3 times what gives me 6? Well, 3 times 2. And the rule is, if you multiply the bottom, you have to multiply the top. So 2 times 2 is 4. You have to multiply it by the same number. So I end up with 4/6. So instead of, I'm going to rewrite my original problem now, and I'm going to leave the 1/6 there, but I'm going to replace 2/3 with our new answer of 4/6. And so now I have 1/6 plus 4/6. Well, I know my bottom number is the same, and 1 plus 4 is 5. And so now we have 5/6. Is it in lowest terms? It sure is, because it's going from 5 to 6. There's nothing in between those numbers on the number line. All right, another way you know if a fraction is in lowest terms is if it has a 1 on top. So 1/15 is considered in lowest terms, or 1/201. Okay, that's considered in lowest terms. All right, next thing we have to do is let's go ahead and add a common denominator like fractions with the need to have to reduce it to simplest form. So let's do 4/8 plus 2/8. That's going to equal, well, the bottom number will stay 8, and now we're going to do 4 plus 2, and 4 plus 2 is 6, and so we have 6/8. Well, 6/8 is going to end up being not in lowest terms. Why? Because they're both even numbers. And notice it's not 7/8 or 6/7. There's a number in between. But since they're even, we can divide both of them. They share a common factor. And so we're going to divide each of them by 2. Well, if I divide by 2/2, that means I have divided by 2 for the 6 and divided by 2 for the 8. And isn't 2/2 another name for 1 whole? So this is how we would do it. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now, is that in lowest terms? Yes, because it follows each other on the number line. So then I want to circle my final answer in lowest terms. All right, so there you go. Let's do one more example with unlike fractions or unlike denominators that still have to be reduced as well. So let's try 1/2 plus 3/10. All right, so we have 1/2 plus 3/10. Can 2 fit into 10? It sure can, but 10 can't fit into 2. So I'm going to make the 2 into tenths. So my first job is to take 1/2 and to turn it or convert it into tenths. And how did I get from 2 to 10? It always has to be either multiplying or dividing. In this case, it's going up, so it's going to be multiplying. 2 times 5 equals 10. So if I did that to the bottom number, I have to do it to my top number. 1 times 5 is 5. It equals 5/10. Okay, so I'm going to replace and rewrite the original problem. So instead of 1/10, I'm going to use my new converted 5/10. And then I'm going to put the plus 3/10 like it had said. So 5/10 plus 3/10 equals 8/10. Is that in lowest terms? Nope, because you have two even numbers. All right, well, what do they share in common? Well, I know that they're even, so I'm just going to divide by, and I'm going to turn my equal sign into a division symbol. I'm going to divide by 2 over 2, and I'm going to get 8 divided by 2 is 4, and then I'm going to say 10 divided by 2 is 5, and oh look, I know that's in lowest terms because they follow each other on the number line. Okay, so this was a quick snapshot of adding like denominators and then making sure your answer was in lowest terms. We also added unlike denominators and made it where it was simple, where we only had to find a common, can one fit into the other. The next lesson is going to be on unlike denominators, but where you have to do some more work. So sometimes we have to find the least common multiple, and that just means what they both have in common. So that way we can make the least common denominator for both of them, and we'll convert them both and then be able to add them together. Because unlike denominators, you can't add those kind of fractions up. You have to make them like first. All right, have a great day. Thanks a lot.